Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening, and he nodded slightly. Understood. Knowing some of her background now, we'll certainly find a way to deal with her before the international war instance begins. With this woman's abilities, if she participates in the international war instance, she would pose a considerable threat to us. Humphrey. After saying this, Parker Williams ended the encrypted video call. As night fell, Lee Hashin returned after spending the day leveling up with the help of Link Zuan. His level increased from level 30 to level 34, nearly unlocking the next skill. Today, Sakura Country didn't provoke him, and Lee Hashin finally had a decent dinner. After dinner, Lee Hashin, led by Link Zuan, returned to that secret area in the King Academy Instance Hall. Today, he planned to start soloing the Endless Altar. Wang Qingfeng had other matters to attend to and did not come. Instead, Zhongzhen and Jiang Wuyu, those 2 idle ones, curiously followed them. Link Zuan glanced at the world ranking on the Endless Altar and introduced to Lee Hashin. The Endless Altar can be considered as a special solo instance that all professionals can farm at any time, yielding a large amount of experience. But in reality, for most people, this instance doesn't have much utility. Why? Lee Hashin asked curiously. Link Zuan showed a helpless expression, because in this instance, the monster levels correspond directly to floors, and the higher the floors, the monster numbers increase geometrically. Chapter 71 Endless Altar. Link Zuan paused, then said, the Endless Altar has a total of 100 levels, and each level can only be cleared once. But so far, no one in the world has been able to clear it. Even our teacher has only managed to reach the 93rd level. Lee Hashin was immediately surprised. Is it that difficult? Zhongzhen nodded seriously. Yes, it really is difficult. The monster levels in the Endless Altar correspond to the floor level. For example, monsters on the first level are at level 1, the 10th level is level 10, and the 95th level is level 95. But if it were just that, it wouldn't be too challenging for professionals of the same level to deal with those monsters, even if the monsters were a bit higher in level. Especially after level 50, the strength of mid to high level professionals, who have completed Advanced Awakening, will greatly increase. Those strong professionals can handle even hundreds or thousands of monsters solo. After all, the abilities of those monsters are relatively simple. Their skills are not as versatile as those of professionals, and they are far less intelligent. Link Zuan sighed helplessly. However, the sheer number of monsters in the Endless Altar is overwhelming. With each level increase, the total number of monsters is the square of that level. For instance, the first level has 1 level 1 monster, the 10th level has 10 squared, meaning 100 level 10 monsters. The 50th level has 50 squared, which is 2,500 level 50 monsters, and the 93rd level is even more exaggerated, 93 squared, totaling 8,649 level 95 monsters. Lee Hashin exclaimed, that means the higher the level, the higher not only the monsters' levels but also their numbers grow exponentially. But then he furrowed his brow. That doesn't seem right. If it's that difficult, with hundreds or even thousands of monsters appearing at once, won't 99% of professionals be unable to get past the first few levels? Especially beyond level 30, with monster numbers already in the thousands, only a few professions adept at group battles could survive the monster onslaught. Zhongzhen gently shook his head. Second senior sister mentioned the total number of monsters on each level, but once the battle starts, these monsters don't appear all at once. They come in waves, and the difficulty gradually increases. For example, on the 50th level with 2,500 monsters, the first wave might have 10, the second 30, the third 100, and so on until all 2,500 monsters have appeared. And between each wave, there's a buffer time, allowing professionals to adjust and adapt. If you kill all the monsters in one wave, the next wave will appear immediately. Yet even so, after the 50th level, the total number of monsters is still incredibly daunting. Even if your attack power is sufficient, your spiritual power value might not sustain the consumption. Upon hearing Zhang Zhen's explanation, Lee Hashin nodded. I see. Ling Xuan said, that's why, although the experience points from the Endless Altar are abundant, for most professionals, it's kind of a mixed blessing. Because the pace of solo runs is too slow, and the risk is too high. Once a professional enters the Endless Altar, there are only two ways to exit. 1. Clear that level, and choose between entering the next level or opting out. 2. If you can't handle a level after the battle starts, you have to last half an hour before choosing to exit midway. What if you can't last half an hour? Li Hashan asked. Ling Xuan spread her hands, then you can only perish under the onslaught of monsters. If it weren't for the sequential appearance of monsters in the Endless Altar, gradually increasing their numbers and giving professionals a chance to delay time, very few would dare to challenge it. Zhang Zhen laughed. Now, most professionals treat the Endless Altar as a trial ground for honing skills or combat techniques. After making a breakthrough, they enter the altar to see if they can surpass their previous record of killing monsters or last longer, serving as a good measure of personal strength growth. In her eyes, Ling Xuan suddenly showed excitement as she stared at Li Hashan. Junior brother, for others the Endless Altar is quite dangerous, but for you, it's an excellent place to gain experience. Because the monsters in the Endless Altar don't have level experience penalties. That means even if you're currently only around level 30, as long as your attack power is enough, you can clear as many levels as you want. This equates to collecting experience by defeating higher level monsters quickly, significantly speeding up the leveling for lower level professionals. Hearing Ling Xuan's words, Li Hashan's eyes gleamed brightly. No level experience penalty? Holy crap. That's friggin' awesome. With the number of superpower weapons Li Hashan can summon, he's truly not afraid of large numbers of monsters. In fact, the more monsters there are, the more thrilled he becomes. The mechanic with unlimited ammo is full of confidence. Thinking about this, Li Hashan immediately got ready to embark on his monster grinding journey. At this moment, Ling Xuan handed over 2 small porcelain bottles to Li Hashan and instructed, Junior brother, these are a Heavenly Spirit Pill and a Xuanling Pill. Take one of each when you go inside. Upon hearing this, Jiang Wuyu, standing beside them, exclaimed in surprise, Xuanling Pills? That's so extravagant. Li Hashan was also surprised, opening the orange-red bottle and pouring out an orange-red elixir. Is this the legendary Xuanling Pill? Ling Xuan nodded with a smile. Yes, these things are really hard to make. Only alchemists above level 70 can concoct them, and the success rate is extremely low. These 10 here are the entire stock of the Dragon Group and Core Piece Elites. Eating a Xuanling Pill together with a Heavenly Spirit Pill quadruples the experience points you gain, lasting for half an hour, perfect for your use now. Li Hashan, deeply moved, said, thank you, second senior sister. Ling Xuan smiled coolly, we are family, no need to thank me. Go ahead, and be careful. Okay. Li Hashan nodded heavily and walked towards the teleportation area. As the light flashed, when Li Hashan's vision cleared, he suddenly found himself standing on the edge of a massive altar. The altar was circular, with an exceptionally large area, estimated to be at least 10 kilometers wide, and engraved with mysterious patterns on the ground. And in the very center of the altar, there was a large one, indicating this was the first level of the Endless Altar. At the moment, Li Hashan stood on the edge of the altar, in a solitary small circle. Li Hashan knew this was the safety zone of the Endless Altar. Once the professional is ready and steps out of this safety zone, the challenge begins. Chapter 72, Really Encountered a Bug? At this moment, a line of prompts floated before Li Hashan's eyes. First challenge to the Endless Altar, registering basic data. Ding. Data registration complete. Name, Li Hashan. Nation, East Dragon Empire. Guild, Nuclear Peace Elite. Profession, Mechanic. Level, 34. Li Hashan was momentarily stunned. What's going on? You need to register your data to challenge the Endless Altar? Doesn't this mean my identity will be exposed? But then, a prompt floated before his eyes, immediately dispelling Li Hashan's worries. Do you want to make your data public? Phew. Li Hashan breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. So it's possible to hide my data? Gave me quite a scare. Hide everything. Li Hashan immediately gave his feedback. Hiding complete. Name? Seeing this familiar sequence of question marks, Li Hashan chuckled, now I can go all out. He immediately took out the 2 bottles given to him by Ling Xuan, poured out an elixir from each, and tossed them into his mouth. Looking at the 4-fold experience countdown that appeared before his eyes, Li Hashan nodded slightly. Then, after just a brief thought, he sprang into action. With a thought, a dense mass of heavy tanks appeared in front of Li Hashan, arrayed in front of him. Summoning a tank consumes 16 points of spiritual power, and with Li Hashan's total spiritual power value of over 3,300 points, combined with the double happiness effect of the aura, Li Hashan managed to summon a total of 800 heavy tanks. Looking at the superpower army before him, Li Hashan felt a surge of heroism in his heart and took a step out, leaving the safe zone. With a loud buzz, the entire altar suddenly seemed to come to life. The mysterious patterns on the ground instantly lit up, and a gigantic white light gate silently rose from the center of the altar. Then, a strange red creature wiggled out from the light gate. It was the monster of the first level of the Endless Altar, the red slime. Li Hashan grinned and issued a command in his heart. With a loud boom, 800 tanks fired simultaneously. Under such terrifying concentrated fire, the strange red creature exploded instantly. Killed red slime, gained 400 experience points. Seeing the floating prompt, Li Hashan's eyes lit up. Wow, the experience points are truly high. This is only the first level's monster, and even without the fourfold experience pills bonus, it still gives a full 100 points of experience. Equivalent to twice the boss in the level 10 instance Dark Forest. Imagine if I reach higher levels, won't the experience points just skyrocket? Congratulations on passing the first level of the Endless Altar. Do you want to continue the challenge? Continue the challenge. Without any hesitation, Li Hashan instantly made his choice. A layer of white light quickly rose from beneath his feet, engulfing Li Hashan. When the white light faded, Li Hashan found himself already on the second level, and the number at the center of the altar changed from 1 to 2. Li Hashan instinctively glanced around, and immediately his body shook, his eyes widened, and his mouth couldn't help but gape open. Because right in front of him were all 800 tanks, lined up neatly without a single one missing. Li Hashan's mind was a bit confused. What's happening? Didn't Second Sister say that when a professional clears a level and chooses to continue, all panel attributes would reset? Could it be that already used skills won't reset? Li Hashan immediately opened his attribute panel to check. Spiritual power value. 2345. It indeed reset. He checked the remaining duration of these heavy tanks again, 53, 52, 51. Li Hashan's eyes suddenly lit up with a gleam. He didn't expect that he who had always been accused of bug exploiting, seems to have really found a bug today. The already summoned superpower weapons actually don't disappear when continuing to challenge the next level, only the duration continues. What does this mean? It means if Li Hashan clears monsters fast enough, his superpower weapons can accumulate well beyond the summoning limit of his current spiritual power value. It's like a snowball, with each level increase, Li Hashan's superpower weapons can double. Then, the firepower becomes increasingly terrifying. Even when reaching later stages and the first summoned superpower weapons disappear after a minute, the subsequent weapons can still accumulate to an extremely exaggerated number. This is at least equivalent to several times the amount Li Hashan can currently summon with his spiritual power value. This is practically invincibility. Li Hashan didn't realize that this doesn't actually count as an instance bug. Because professionals who summon superpower weapons and can keep summoning as long as they have enough spiritual power value, he is the only one in the world. Even similar professions like beast tamers and summoners have fixed beast pets and summoned creatures, with no possibility of repeated summoning. And once their beast pets or summoned creatures are injured or killed during monster clearance, they can only wait for them to naturally recover before summoning again. Thus, even if their summoned creatures follow them to the next level when choosing to continue, at most it saves some spiritual power value on skill activation and doesn't provide any additional combat power boost to the professional. So, this kind of rule doesn't allow professionals to exploit any loopholes, except Li Hashan is an exception. Because his superpower weapons exist through continuous consumption of spiritual power value and have no quantity limitations. Thinking of this, how could Li Hashan afford to waste any time? He took a step forward while immediately whoosh whoosh whoosh, deployed another 800 tanks outside. Buzz, a gigantic white light gate appeared again at the center of the altar, and 4 strange green creatures crawled out slowly. The second level, the number of monsters is 2 squared, a total of 4 green slimes. Boom. A total of 1,600 tanks roared simultaneously, and the 4 slimes were instantly blasted to pieces. Killed green slime, gained 1,600 experience points, killed green slime, gained 1,600 experience points. One after another, 4 prompts floated out, making Li Hashan very excited. Wow, this endless altar is quite fair. As the levels increase, with the number of monsters increasing exponentially, the experience points also increase exponentially. According to this rule, the raw experience points for the third level should be 3 squared times 100, with each monster's raw experience being 900, and with the 4-fold experience pill, it would be 3,600 experience points. According to what Link Zuan said before, as the levels go up, the experience gain from monsters will slow down, but for someone like him at low level 30+, it's still quite tempting, making him a bit impatient. Congratulations on passing the second level of the Endless Altar. Do you want to continue the challenge? Continue. With a flash of white light, Lee Hashin appeared on the third level. This time, he moved even faster, eager to save time. He hadn't even clearly seen the scene before stepping out of the safe zone to once again deploy 800 tanks. Chapter 73, is the speed of slaying monsters a bit off? Just as Lee Hashin stepped out of the safe zone, the large white light gate reappeared at the center of the altar, and 9 giant dark purple spiders crawled out, their eyes gleaming fiercely. These are the monsters of the third layer, the fierce spiders. Boom. 2,400 tanks fired simultaneously, and before the 9 fierce spiders could take a few steps, they turned into a mist of blood and dispersed. Killed fierce spiders, gained 3,600 experience points. Killed fierce spiders, gained 3,600 experience points. Just as expected. Seeing the kill notifications floating in front of him, Lee Hashin's face lit up with joy. Feeling the large amount of experience points credited, Lee Hashin's heart itched with excitement, and he began to rapidly advance to higher levels. Outside, Ling Xuan, Zhang Zhen, and others occasionally glanced at the Endless Altar global leaderboard while chatting leisurely. Jiang Wu said expectantly, "I wonder what level Hashin can reach?" Zhang Zhen laughed. With that aura, Hashin's superpower weapons are essentially quadrupled. If he summons all tanks, that's a full force output of 800 tanks for a minute, and without any ammunition limitations. With this kind of firepower density, I feel reaching level 50 won't be much of an issue. Ling Xuan did some calculations in her mind and smiled. The attack mode of a mechanic is quite special. With abundant ammo, it's all multi-target strikes. The attack power of a heavy tank's main cannon is indeed formidable, but later on, when the number of monsters increases, the coverage of tanks' attacks might not match that of rocket cannons. Zhang Zhen showed a thoughtful expression. What second senior sister said is true. The single-shot power of a tank's main cannon does exceed that of a rocket cannon, and the range is also greater, but the coverage density is indeed much smaller. If Hashin summoned rocket cannons, the spiritual power value consumption would be only a quarter of that of tanks, translating to him being able to summon more than 3,300 rocket cannons. Such a number of rocket cannons unleashing firepower, their attack power would even surpass that of 800 tanks. After all, for a mechanic, the quantity of superpower weapons is the key to measuring attack power. Ling Xuan nodded. Exactly, even low-level superpower weapons, when their quantity reaches a certain threshold, have an attack power so terrifying they can far exceed high-level superpower weapons. If Hashin realizes this, after level 50, instead of summoning tanks, he should summon rocket cannons entirely. With over 3,300 rocket cannons opening fire for a minute, there should be a great chance to reach level 60. Jiang Wu expressed concern, but rocket cannons have a much shorter attack range than tanks. If the monsters get too close, wouldn't the danger greatly increase? Hearing this, Zhang Zhen laughed. Yu, did you forget about Hashin's new talent? With the mechanical substitute, it's hard for him to die, so what's there to fear? Jiang Wu finally remembered and sheepishly stuck out her tongue. Ling Xuan glanced at her teasingly and joked, it's okay, when you care, you get confused. Aunt Ling understands. Jiang Wu blushed, pouting adorably, Aunt Ling. At this moment, Zhang Zhen, who had been keeping an eye on the Endless Altar global leaderboard, suddenly froze, pleasantly surprised. Hashin has made it onto the leaderboard. Where, let me see. Jiang Wu immediately looked up. Ling Xuan also exclaimed in surprise and focused on the leaderboard. The Endless Altar is accessible to all professionals worldwide, with numerous participants. Therefore, the global leaderboard only records those professionals who have passed the 30th layer. Afterward, each layer beyond that is ranked based on the time taken to pass. As for below level 30, first, the professionals are still novices among novices with limited combat power, barely able to pass a few layers. Secondly, below level 30, leveling up is relatively faster and safer by running instances or getting boosted by someone. Naturally, no one will endure the trouble of soloing the Endless Altar. After reaching level 30, the difficulty of instances skyrockets, and leveling speed significantly slows down. At this point, most professionals opt for better gear at level 30. Children from wealthy families usually equip themselves with divine artifact level kits at this time. Only if they're lucky midway and obtain legendary orange gear or level 40 pink gear will they consider switching. Otherwise, it will be used until level 50, a plan considered to have the best cost effectiveness. Powerful illusion god professionals and top-tier professions will also start to diverge significantly from ordinary professions, marking a turning point among low-level professionals. Like Kobayashi from Sakura country, who is exceptionally lucky, Having pieced together a complete set of level 40 legendary profession-specific gear from several Abyss dungeons, almost raising his combat power to the peak below level 50. If it weren't for Li Hashan's freakish abilities, he would be the combat power pinnacle below level 50. Jiang Wuyu glanced at the string at the bottom of the leaderboard and couldn't help but laugh. Haha, this string of question marks again, with all information hidden. It must be Hashan. Ling Xuan seemed puzzled, muttering, "It's strange, Hashan's monster slaying speed seems to be much quicker than I anticipated. How did he reach 30 so quickly?" Zhang Zhen chuckled, "No surprise there, right? Monsters below level 30 number only in the hundreds, with very low defensive power. Even summoning 800 tanks would be enough to instantly cover and kill that many monsters." Ling Xuan hesitated and nodded. Despite agreeing, she couldn't shake off a weird feeling. Beida Academy, Instance Hall. Suddenly, the name Yun Lan appeared in the 33rd layer area of the leaderboard. Yun Miao, with hands behind his back, was also looking at the Endless Altar leaderboard, a rare faint smile on his stern face. A flash of light, and Yun Lan, not particularly curvy but drenched in fragrant sweat, suddenly appeared. She was panting heavily, yet her face wore an excited smile. Yun Miao nodded approvingly. "Well done, though clearing was a bit challenging. Surpassing the 33rd layer is already an extraordinary performance. Lanner, compared to before, your combat skills have improved significantly." Receiving her teacher's praise, Yun Lan was also full of happiness and nodded firmly, "Yes. Thanks to the teacher's excellent teaching, thank you for boosting me to level 30. In Four Symbol City, seeing Jiang Wuyu advance to level 30 ahead, Yun Lan felt a sudden urgency. So, after returning, she asked Yun Miao to help her grind for levels, hoping to catch up to Jiang Wuyu's pace. Chapter 74, Claustrophobia in the Endless Altar. Fortunately, her experience points were already close to level 30, and Yun Miao held her in high regard, so they took her to farm experience for 2 days and let her consume a few heavenly spirit pills. Finally today, Yun Lan's level was raised to 30, and she replaced all her gear with pink equipment. Thus, after changing her equipment, Yun Lan thought of trying out her combat power at the Endless Altar. Unexpectedly, she managed to rush up to the 33rd floor in one go. Generally speaking, with the strength of an illusion god profession, one can usually challenge floors 3 or 4 levels higher in the Endless Altar. The frontline professions can only challenge floors just 1 or 2 levels higher than their own. Only a super god profession like Martial Li can achieve a level 5 floors above their own status, and that spans across significant levels. Moreover, there's a difference related to profession inclination. Like Yun Lan's battle mage, she's not a profession skilled in group battles, more inclined towards warriors and assassins. Therefore, Yun Lan actually suffers some disadvantages when challenging the Endless Altar. Reaching the 33rd floor is already quite an achievement for her. Yun Lan herself is quite satisfied with this. She exclaimed with a bit of fear, the attacks of the Hell Goblin archers on the 33rd floor were really too dense. Fortunately, the altar was large enough that constant moving was needed to avoid the archers' concentrated fire. Good thing I wasn't slow. Otherwise, I might have faced bitter regret on the spot. Yun Miao slightly nodded. Battle mages are not skilled in group fights, nor are they skilled in ranged combat. The Hell Goblin archers indeed restrained you. Yun Lan glanced at the ranking board. Since she was approaching the limit of her completion, her rank was mostly at the bottom of the 33rd floor. However, just as she was preparing to look away, suddenly, a peculiar name entered her field of view. Because that name was a series of question marks. And at this moment, that question mark name was closely following her, ranking first on the 32nd floor. Yun Lan's pupils dilated instantly, pointing at the ranking board in shock. "Teacher, look." Yun Miao looked over in surprise, and her gaze immediately became fixed. Ever since that camp battle dungeon event, a name of question marks only signified one identity, the mysterious female powerhouse from the East Dragon Empire. Seeing this string of question marks, Yun Miao immediately thought of her. Yun Lan asked in astonishment, "Teacher, could this be that mysterious female strongman?" Yun Miao's eyes slightly narrowed, not immediately answering the disciple's question, just staring steadily at the name of question marks. Subsequently, in merely a few seconds, the name of question marks suddenly disappeared from the 32nd floor area. Yun Miao's body shook and immediately looked at the ranking of the 33rd floor. The name of question marks had already reached the top of the 33rd floor. Yun Miao revealed a just as expected expression and nodded slowly. "It's her." This speed of clearing floors is simply unreachable by professionals in their 30s. For this person to clear levels at such speed, there's only one possibility. Her attack strength far surpasses the level of the monsters here, instantly wiping them out as soon as they appear. And within just a few breaths, the name of question marks again disappeared from the 33rd floor. appearing at the top of the 34th floor. Yun Miao's gaze was flickering. This woman has been hidden by Martial Li for an unknown number of years. With her current level, she's most likely a 70-plus level powerhouse. Previously, to hide her presence, she never participated in the Endless Altar. Now, though her real identity still needs confidentiality, her presence has already been unveiled. Therefore, she's now beginning to farm the Endless Altar. Yun Miao chuckled softly. Interesting, I'd like to see just how many floors this woman can climb. In the Qinghua Academy Instance Hall, Ling Xuan and 2 others were also staring at the Endless Altar ranking board, at the series of question marks. 45th floor, 46th floor, 47th floor. Watching the name soar upward frantically every few seconds, even Zhang Zhen was starting to feel something was off. He murmured to himself with a puzzled and astonished expression, it's almost close to the 50th floor, why is Hashan's speed still this fast? This instant killing power is just too impressive. Is the firepower from 800 tanks really that intense? It's a bit unreal. Jiang Wuyui's eyes were full of excitement and delight, cheerfully cheering for Li Hashan on the side. Hashan is amazing. It's like cutting through butter. I wonder what level he's reached now? Hearing his daughter words, Zhang Zhen roughly calculated internally. Based on Li Hashan's monster farming speed, without experience penalties and using the 4-fold experience pill, he might already be approaching level 40 now. Suddenly, Ling Xuan's eyes deepened, and he murmured, about to break through the 50th floor barrier. Within the Endless Altar, at this moment, the originally spacious area was already densely packed with superpower weapons. Looking around, there was barely any room to step. Heavy tanks nearly filled the entire altar, their dark muzzles all aimed precisely at the center of the altar. Not just the ground, but even the sky was crammed full of various superpower weapons. At the top center of the altar was a dense array of Barrett sniper rifles, and surrounding the Barretts were Gatling machine guns. This area was specifically planned by Li Hashan for mopping up. Because the Gatlings and Barretts have higher coverage density, they can quickly eliminate any fish that slipped through the net, saving time. On the outer periphery of the Gatling machine guns, there were rocket cannons everywhere. Looking at the number and density of those rocket cannons, it's terrifying enough to induce trypophobia. There were at least tens of thousands of them. And the person who instigated all this was squeezed to the very edge of the altar by these superpower weapons, sitting idly on a tank while yawning. Now, he couldn't even bother to see what kind of monster emerged from the light gate. It didn't matter what monster it was, against this overwhelming number of superpower weapons, there was no significance whatsoever. What he needed to do now was just fill in the spaces after his summoned superpower weapons time ended. Apart from that, it's just mindlessly bombarding the center of the altar, with no extra technique required. Unlike other professionals who have to jump up and down, dodging left and right in the altar. There's no need for any tactics or strategy, okay? As long as there's enough firepower, all monsters are illusions, poking their heads out equals death. Li Hashan looked at his attribute panel, murmuring, after finishing the 50th floor, the experience points should be enough to level me up to 40. TSK, this Endless Altar is indeed such a great place for farming experience. Even the initial experience from single monsters far exceeds bosses of the same level. Combining it with the 4-fold pill, the experience points are visibly increasing, growing faster than hormone-treated leeks. You simply can't harvest them all. Chapter 75, New Talent. Infinite Endurance. Boom. Another round of artillery fire, and over 1,000 Hell Knights turned into ashes in an instant. Level 50, clear. Ding dong. Congratulations on reaching level 40. Seeing the upgrade notice appear in front of him, Li Hashan's eyes brightened instantly. He chose to continue climbing levels while quickly opening the attribute panel to check new skills and talents. After reaching level 40, the attribute points gained from leveling up increased from 5 to 10, and free potential also became 10 points. Without hesitation, Li Hashan added all these free potentials to the spiritual power value, then quickly opened the Talent tab. At this moment, the skill bar on the left side of Talent had 2 additional skills. One was unlocked at level 35, but Li Hashan was too lazy to check it earlier and planned to view it together with the new talent unlocked at level 40. Level 35 skill, Wolverine, skill description, summon Wolverine, consuming 32 points of spiritual power value for every minute it exists. Remark, Wolverine has 2 forms, humanoid, offering more diverse combat styles and can equip various long-range superpower weapons. The other is wolf form, slightly less flexible in combat, but with 3 times the speed and strength of the humanoid form. Note, when spiritual power value reaches 0, Wolverine will automatically be recalled. Seeing this, Li Hashan's eyebrows raised high in satisfaction and said, wow, not only does it have independent combat abilities, but it's also dual-formed. Isn't his equivalent to a super infantry? Not bad, not bad. Level 40 skill, laser cannon, skill description, summon laser cannon, consuming 50 points of spiritual power value for every minute it exists. Remark, the laser cannon is a long-range light energy weapon with enormous power, featuring armor-piercing and penetration effects, with a maximum range of 35 kilometers. Note, when spiritual power value reaches 0, the laser cannon will automatically be recalled. Hiss. Lee Hashin's eyes shone brightly, and he inhaled sharply. Oh my god. It even comes with special effects as a superpower weapon. The mechanic truly deserves the title of Illusion God Profession. From level 40, the attack effects of superpower weapons have clearly seen a significant increase. If the numbers stack up, the laser cannon with inherent penetration and armor-piercing effects is naturally the nemesis of mages and heavy armor warriors. Not only that, Lee Hashin noticed a problem. The spiritual power value consumption for the laser cannon skill is remarkably 50 points. It's noteworthy that all his previous superpower weapons had their spiritual power value consumption doubling with every 5-level increase. Wolverine at level 35 required 32 points of spiritual power value, and he originally thought the level 40 skill would consume 64 points. Unexpectedly, it's only 50 points, much less than he anticipated. For Lee Hashin, this means his endurance can be significantly improved, which is definitely good news. After checking the skills, Lee Hashin eagerly looked over to the right at the Mechanics exclusive talent. Compared to the unlocked skills after leveling up, talent is the real focus. Mechanics exclusive talent, Stage 4, Life Transfer. Remark 1, using superpower weapons to kill enemies can convert 1,000th of the enemy's health into spiritual power value, supplementing himself. Remark 2, at level 50, the 5th stage exclusive talent can be unlocked. Seeing this skill, Lee Hashin's breath quickened instantly. Converting 1,000th of the enemy's life into spiritual power value? In this way, combined with the double happiness effect of the spiritual power blossom aura, wouldn't his endurance capacity be greatly enhanced? Previously, although Lee Hashin's firepower was impressive, there was still a major drawback. Consumption might not keep up. For instance, in previous camp battle dungeons, Lee Hashin had to ensure firepower while keeping some reserve power in mind. Otherwise, if too many superpower weapons were summoned at once and the natural recovery effect of spiritual power value couldn't keep up, it could lead to many superpower weapons suddenly disappearing due to insufficient spiritual power value and recalling automatically. In such a scenario, Lee Hashin would be in danger. But now with this life transfer talent, Lee Hashin is less afraid to face group battles. In fact, it can be said that now Lee Hashin is truly born for group fights. The more enemies there are, the more fiercely he fights. And after killing enemies, their life will be converted into Lee Hashin's spiritual power value by 1,000th. This spiritual power value can support the superpower weapons Lee Hashin summons for consumption or summon more superpower weapons. This is simply infinite mana regeneration. Heaven-defying. Simply heaven-defying. With this talent, Lee Hashin essentially has the capital to fight 1 against 10,000, or even 1 against a nation. Lee Hashin looked towards the center of the altar with shining eyes. Because he suddenly thought that the life transfer talent was just right for farming the endless altar. The number of monsters in the endless altar can definitely provide him with a lot of spiritual power value recovery. With this talent, the number of Lee Hashin's superpower weapons can be increased again on the current basis, and the duration can also be extended. These chaotic thoughts seemed complicated, but in Lee Hashin's mind, they just flashed by quickly. When he refocused on the altar, the huge white light gate in the center flashed again, revealing hundreds of one-eyed giants. As soon as Lee Hashin willed it, he summoned over 200 laser cannons to boost his firepower. While the artillery around them roared again, a look of surprise appeared on his face. Because through God's eye view, he saw that this time, every monster that appeared had a red semi-transparent bar above its head. What is this? I haven't seen it before. Just as this thought arose in Lee Hashin's mind, the one-eyed giants turned into ashes under the artillery's kiss. At the same time, the red semi-transparent bar above their heads instantly emptied. Lee Hashin's eyes lit up, and he immediately realized, oh my god. This is actually a health bar. With this talent, he can see the enemy's health bar. As these one-eyed giants perished, a new batch of one-eyed giants quickly refreshed. Meanwhile, a string of numbers floated up in front of Lee Hashin: spiritual power value recovery plus 71, spiritual power value recovery plus 71, spiritual power value recovery plus 71. Combined with the numbers he saw on the one-eyed giant's head just now, Lee Hashin was exceedingly excited. The one-eyed giant is a level 51 monster, with high defense and decent attack power. Just now, Lee Hashin clearly saw that a one-eyed giant had 71,000 health. According to the 1000th conversion, killing one one-eyed giant would restore exactly 71 points of spiritual power value for Lee Hashin. Lee Hashin's body was slightly trembling with excitement. It's noted that summoning a laser cannon only requires consuming 50 points of spiritual power value, and this is without considering the double happiness factor. This is infinite endurance. Chapter 76, an incredibly fast bizarre speed. At this moment, in the outside world, because Lee Hashin's speed in advancing through levels was so astonishing, coupled with that string of conspicuous question marks, many people had already taken notice. In instance halls around the world, a commotion immediately erupted. Is this that mysterious powerful woman? Damn it! That mysterious woman from the East Dragon has appeared again. Stop hiding. Show your name if you dare. The powerful woman is grinding the endless altar. Everyone come watch intensely. Sister is awesome. An 8-pack ABS soft boy is online seeking guidance. Can support and fight, willing to do anything. Various chaotic discussions quickly began to emerge on major forums. In the East Dragon Empire, countless professionals quickly acted, swarming to the instance halls in major cities as if they were watching a live broadcast. Some people who had just finished an instance and were coming out of the instance hall were startled by the dense crowd in front of them. After learning what was happening from the bustling discussion, they simply decided not to leave and joined in a lively scene. In an instant, the atmosphere in instance halls of major cities was as lively as New Year's Eve. In the Freedom Federation, Parker Williams, the president of the Yuan God Guild, was equally alarmed by this situation. Without saying a word, he immediately convened an online meeting with the presidents of major branches, while also having people broadcast the instance hall situation over to him. Although outsiders couldn't see what was happening inside the endless altar, as experienced professionals, they could infer quite a bit of information just from the speed of the mysterious woman's monster grinding, ranking, and other apparent features. While those below were still connecting the broadcast lines, the presidents of various branches of the Yuan God Guild were already online. This shows how much they valued the mysterious woman from the East Dragon Empire. James Gordon, the president of the Gotham branch, first spoke in a deep voice. I just received news that the woman has already cleared the 51st level, and people below say she's advancing quickly. Parker Williams' face was somewhat unsightly. Quickly? Fire that subordinate of yours, he can't even use words properly. James Gordon showed a bewildered expression, his heart filled with doubt. Was there an error in the judgment from below? Was it actually not that quick? At this moment, the big screen flickered, the broadcast connection was completed, and it displayed the scene of the instance hall of the main Yuan God Guild. The big screen flickered, and the scene of the endless altar leaderboard was quickly enlarged. When everyone saw that string of question marks on the top, all breathing momentarily stopped in unison. 57th level. Clearance time ranked first. James Gordon's pupils shrank instantly. Seeing this number, he finally understood why Parker Williams wanted him to fire that subordinate. Because a few minutes ago, Parker Williams informed him to organize an online meeting, saying that the mysterious woman from the East Dragon was grinding the endless altar. Upon receiving this news, James Gordon immediately had his subordinate check the instance hall's leaderboard information. From the time that subordinate reported back until now, at most a few minutes had passed. But in just these few short minutes, the mysterious woman from the East Dragon had already advanced from the 51st to the 57th level. What the hell kind of speed is this? Quickly? Not even a rocket could go this fast. Could that woman be clearing each level instantly? Her time for clearing each level didn't even exceed a minute. While James Gordon was slightly stunned, that string of question marks on the 57th level leaderboard suddenly disappeared. Everyone present was equally stunned, then the big screen changed again, transferring to the 58th level leaderboard. And the name ranked first was still that string of question marks. Bruno Collins, president of the Hueco branch, wore a bewildered expression, questioning somewhat doubtfully, isn't his way too fast? The total number of monsters at the 57th level has already reached over 3,200. What profession does she have, with such terrifying attack power, that she can conduct such a one-sided massacre? James Gordon questioned. Another branch president frowned and said, the speed is indeed very fast. It seems she is killing all the monsters as soon as they appear, with no pause in between, indicating these monsters can't resist her attacks at all. But on closer thought, is it really so surprising that she has such power? After all, we received some information from Sakura country and speculated that this woman is very likely a level 70 or above professional. If her level is at the peak of level 70, and her awakened profession is a super god profession on the same level as Mr. Lee, leaning toward attack type, and good at group battles, then her ability to rapidly kill monsters at level 57 can be explained, right? Hearing this branch president's remarks, the others nodded slightly, clearly agreeing with his analysis. Parker Williams, however, looked deeply at the big screen, fiercely fixated. As the president of the Yuan God Guild, a peak professional ranked second on the level leaderboard at level 87, he felt things weren't that simple. East Dragon Empire, Kingwa Academy Instance Hall. Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen looked at each other, both surprised and puzzled. How exactly is Hashan doing it? Is the power of his superpower weapons really that great? Zhang Zhen asked curiously. While others might not know Li Hashan's true strength, they were well aware. Li Hashan wasn't some level 70 strong professional, even if grinding all day long had allowed his level to rise. But Ling Xuan could calculate approximately that Li Hashan's current real level was only just over 40. Yet here was a mechanic in his early 40s, casually killing level 57 monsters as if playing a game. Even with Li Hashan's unlimited ammo, this speed of killing monsters was a bit exaggerated. Jiang Wuyui didn't know what level the monsters in the Endless Altar above level 50 were, only that Li Hashan had a lot of superpower weapons, so it wasn't surprising for him to fight fast. Thus, she had no doubts about Li Hashan's current achievements, instead her eyes were full of envious little stars. Ling Xuan hesitated and speculated, something's off, even if Hashan summoned over 3,000 rocket cannons, it shouldn't be this fast. His speed is completely crushing monsters, with virtually no delay. Judging by this intensity, even level 60 is far from Hashan's limit. This kind of attack power is at least at the level of level 70 or above. Zhang Zhen raised his eyebrows slightly, instinctively taking a deep breath. Level 70? My goodness, this level would even be challenging for him as a level 68 elemental controller. To know that the highest level he could currently clear was just level 71. Doesn't this mean that Li Hashan's current attack power is nearly on par with his? Chapter 77, the venue is a bit small, there's not enough room for everything. Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. Zhang Zhen's eyes showed a look of amazement. He suddenly realized that his junior brother seemed to be even more abnormal than they had imagined. Ling Xuan also slightly frowned, with a look of thought in her eyes. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something, and a hint of excitement flashed deep in her eyes. Third brother, we overlooked something. Zhang Zhen asked in confusion, what is it? Junior brother has been grinding until now, combined with the fourfold experience pill, his current level should have already exceeded level 40. This also means that junior brother's heaven-defying mechanics exclusive talent has unlocked a new one. I suspect that the reason why junior brother's attack power is so strong might be related to that newly unlocked talent. Zhang Zhen slapped his forehead, suddenly realizing, right. I almost forgot about the thing that junior brother can unlock a new talent every 10 levels. He excitedly speculated, could it be that junior brother's new talent effect is to double the attack power of superpower weapons, allowing him to crush monsters over level 50? Ling Xuan's beautiful eyes shone brightly, and she slightly shook her head, not sure, but I feel like it might be even more exaggerated than that. She did a quick calculation in her mind, if Li Hashan has currently summoned more than 3,300 rocket cannons. Then, even if the attack power of these more than 3,300 rocket cannons doubled, it shouldn't reach such a rapid monster-killing speed. Unless the effect of that new talent is not doubling but multiplying several times. A few more minutes passed by. At this moment, the instance halls of various countries instead became quiet again, no longer as noisy as initially. Everyone was staring intently at the ranking of the Endless Altar, and occasionally you could still hear the sound of someone swallowing. Freedom Federation's online meeting. Now, the expressions of all the branch leaders had become serious. Even the branch leader who initially said, "It's understandable that the mysterious woman from East Dragon has such strong attack power," had closed his mouth and showed a look of shock. On the ranking on the big screen, the name represented by a string of question marks had disappeared from the 63rd floor and reached the topmost of the 64th floor. Too fast. The speed did not decrease at all. After crossing a major level, coming from the 50th to the 60th floor, the overall strength of the monsters had already taken a huge leap, but the woman's monster-killing speed had not slowed down a bit. It was like a massacre in a frenzy, still instant clearing at every step. Parker Williams' eyes even started to show dread. If estimated by attack power, that woman's real level might already be at the peak of level 70, equivalent to the pinnacle combat power among intermediate professionals. She was even close to reaching the level 80 tier of high-level professionals. Because judging from such battle achievements, she apparently still had a lot of spare energy. Gotham Branch President James Gordon also showed a shocked expression. How many years has Mr. Lee hidden her? How could a level 70 pinnacle super god professional suddenly appear, yet we had not received a single bit of information before? Hueco Branch President Bruno Collins also showed a solemn expression. It's truly unbelievable. East Dragon's secrecy work this time is done too well, isn't it? Does that woman not need to grind large-scale raids or slaughter dungeons? It seems our people have never encountered her in these multiplayer instances. Other branch leaders also began to feel the crisis this woman was bringing to them, and they started exchanging intelligence in private chats below. Parker Williams still remained silent, but the ominous premonition in his heart grew increasingly severe. In Sakura country, Kobe Kinjin sat in his office, also resting his chin on his hands, staring intently at the endless altar rankings on the screen. Unlike Parker Williams, Kobe Kenjin's eyes no longer showed dread, but fright. Due to certain historical reasons, Sakura country and the East Dragon Empire had not been on good terms for years. The East Dragon Empire has a Mr. Lee, which for Sakura country is already like a wolf fang club hanging over their heads. And suddenly, East Dragon somehow produced another super god professional equivalent to the peak of level 70, and what's more, one with such astonishing group attack abilities. If in the future, Sakura country clashes again with the East Dragon Empire, with Mr. Lee acting as a bodyguard for the mysterious woman, the two of them coming together, with Mr. Lee's creator survival abilities, this woman could attack with impunity. Just how strong would her destructive power be? Moreover, Sakura country is currently missing high-level combat power like its three ministers, making the power disparity between the two sides even greater. Thinking of the death of the three ministers, Kobe Kenjin's body suddenly shivered, and his eyes showed a suspicious and uncertain expression. Because he suddenly thought, could the appearance of this woman be a conspiracy by the East Dragon Empire specifically targeting the high-level professionals of Sakura country? Was she originally intending to use the camp battle dungeon to lure out Sakura country's high-level professionals, thereby weakening Sakura country's top-tier strength? Upon thinking of such a possibility, the panic began to appear in Kobe Kenjin's eyes. East Dragon Empire, Kingwa Academy. Marshal Lee comfortably leaned on the recliner in his room, looking at the information on the endless altar rankings on the screen with a face full of admiration. Unfortunately, he did not know that Kobe Kenjin was dramatizing the East Dragon Empire, otherwise Marshal Lee would surely mock, as expected of such a small place, living in constant fear every day. Of course, Marshal Lee also didn't know why Lee Hashin's attack power was so strong, even to an exaggerated extent. Like Ling Xuan, he also thought it might be due to the new talent Lee Hashin unlocked that brought him a new boost in combat power. As for what the new talent is, they could just ask him when Lee Hashin comes out. Wang Qingfen was also sitting in his office, dealing with related affairs while watching the situation of his junior brother grinding the endless altar. He glanced at the overwhelming discussions and speculations online, and surprisingly, he felt a trace of admiration for Lee Hashin. He praised, junior brother's trick of feigning mystery is truly brilliant. Conjuring a female big shot out of thin air, diverting everyone's attention there and making them firmly believe it. But then, Wang Qingfen mocked himself, but indeed, with junior brother displaying such a level of attack power, if I were in their place, I wouldn't believe he was just a low-level professional at level 30 or 40 either. Amid the attention and discussions from countries around the world, that certain female big shot was staring at the endless altar in front of her, densely packed with superpower weapons, with a face full of confusion. Hey, who knew that restoring spiritual power value could also provide additional charges to superpower weapons before their time, so they wouldn't be wasted, ensuring the maximum number of superpower weapons can exist. But immediately, he was somewhat dissatisfied and muttered, it's just that the place is a bit small, not enough space to put them all. Chapter 78, The Female Tycoon with a Hidden Level? 67, 68, 69, 70. That striking string of question marks broke through the 70th level, and every professional in the East Dragon Empire's instance hall was boiling with excitement. Wow! 70 floors already, and still in first place. Awesome. Simply awesome. Confirmed. This female boss is at least a level 70 peak super god professional. Even those illusion god professions good at group attacks can't match this speed. No, you're oversimplifying it. I feel the female boss is more than just level 70. This attack power, even if she's a super god professional, doesn't seem like something a level 70 professional could achieve. I estimate she might be a professional over level 80. Hey, don't rule that out. Our East Dragon has hidden her this long, and daring to reveal her existence now means she's strong enough. Level 80 might be an exaggeration, but it's plausible. Don't you find it strange? If this mysterious female boss is a level 70 peak, or even an over level 80 professional, why isn't her name on the global leaderboard? Everyone was stunned for a moment by this question. Right. The global leaderboard displays automatically. Even if the mysterious female boss hid her name, if she's indeed a level 70, or above 80 powerful professional, shouldn't at least that string of question marks be visible on the leaderboard? But so far, all the names above level 70 on the leaderboard are familiar figures. Not only are there no unfamiliar names appearing, But even that familiar string of question marks is missing. Does this mean the female boss's real level isn't that high? Or did she use a special method to hide her name from the leaderboard? Hiss. This female boss is getting more and more monstrous. In the Freedom Federation, Parker Williams's eyes were fixed on that question mark at the top of the 70th floor, his gaze filled with caution and unease. The expressions of other branch presidents also turned serious. Gotham Branch President James Gordon said, "If I'm not mistaken, the monster on the 70th floor is the Dark Horror Claw Bear, with amazing defensive power and a talent skill, Dark Horror Claw, with extremely terrifying attack power. Apart from being a bit slow, this monster has almost no weaknesses. Moreover, the total number of monsters on the 70th floor has reached 4,900, yet even then, her speed in clearing the 70th floor is only a bit slower than before, still incredibly fast." Bruno Collins said gravely, "This attack power is definitely something a professional over level 80 might possess." James Gordon said doubtfully, "But there's no trace of her on the leaderboard. The high-level professionals in the East Dragon Empire are still the same as before. What's exactly going on?" Finally, Parker Williams spoke in a low voice, "Although it's hard to believe, the East Dragon Empire must have used some special method to hide her level. Such strength could never belong to a professional below level 70. Mr. Lee, that old fox, has hidden it so deeply, huh?" Everyone looked at each other, frowning and deep in thought, but no one refuted Parker Williams's claim. Soloing the Endless Altar, relying purely on one's strength and equipment, it's pure hard power, there's no room for any tricks. Moreover, that woman has been fighting her way up from the lower levels to reach this level without even a pause along the way. This means the woman never left the Endless Altar during the journey. What does this imply? This suggests that the East Dragon woman not only has deep reserves but also immense confidence in her abilities. Now everyone is convinced that the mysterious woman is a secret weapon, secretly nurtured by the East Dragon Empire, prepared for the upcoming international warfare instance. And the reason she's still hiding her information is likely to guard against tricks from other countries. Most likely because she's a high-damage, fragile mage type suitable for group battles. Although her attack is extremely powerful, her defense might be much weaker. In the Endless Altar, she can wreak havoc because the environment is simple, and the enemy patterns are fixed. But in the real world, if powerful assassin professionals took advantage of complex environments for assassination, she'd find it much harder to cope. One misstep, and she could meet with disaster and defeat bitterly on the spot. Parker Williams's eyes flickered with a cold gleam, thinking about something unspoken. As they continued to chatter, Lee Hashin's climb was still steadily and quickly advancing. After the 70th level, indeed, the overall strength of those monsters was significantly stronger than the 60th level. But leveraging the life transfer talent, the number of Lee Hashin's superpower weapons had already reached an astonishing level. Looking around, they even filled the entire Endless Altar. Both the sky and ground were covered with Lee Hashin's superpower weapons army. A rough estimate counted at least several 100,000 strong. Moreover, due to his life transfer talent, Lee Hashin's spiritual power supply was more than adequate, with no worry about expenditure. Take the monsters on the 70th floor as an example. Dark Horror Claw Bear's health is 130,000. At a conversion rate of 1 out of 1,000, killing one restores 130 spiritual power value. With a total of 4,900 monsters on the 70th floor, the total restored spiritual power value amounts to 63,700 points. Endless, utterly endless. Fortunately, Lee Hashin could channel the excess spiritual power into the already summoned superpower weapons to top up their duration. Otherwise, if all spiritual power were used to summon superpower weapons, this Endless Altar, spanning only 10 kilometers in radius, wouldn't be enough space. 75, 76, 77. Lee Hashin's rank continued to climb at a steady speed, crossing one floor after another. In the Endless Altar, the fearful demon dragon, covered in fearsome scales and exuding black flames, had just emerged from the light gate and was met with a barrage of artillery fire. Boom, 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 boom. The relentless artillery fire rained down on their imposing bodies, bringing these lords of the skies crashing to the ground instantly, leaving tattered wings and bare bones. Surprisingly, these resilient behemoths weren't dead yet. Lee Hashin raised an eyebrow, eyes glinting with interest. Oh, reaching level 80 makes the monsters much tougher, huh? Their individual strength isn't on the same level as before, at least 10 times stronger. Chapter 79, Freedom Federation's Conjecture, Otherworldly Dungeon? Levels 50 to 70 are all intermediate professionals. But level 80 is truly a high-level professional. Compared to intermediate professionals, the gap is like heaven and earth. And the fearful demon dragon of the 80th floor, in terms of individual strength, obviously far exceeds monsters above level 70. It was actually able to withstand such an exaggerated burst of firepower and not be instantly killed. But that's all there is to it. Boom 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 boom. Another series of explosions. Under the endless bombardment, those fearful demon dragons could only let out a hopeless roar, their health bars hitting 0. 80th floor, cleared. Outside, that mysterious question mark name once again topped the ranking at the 80th floor. In the instance hall of the East Dragon Empire, a landslide of screams erupted. 80th floor. 80th floor. With such monster farming speed, the lady boss is indeed a high-level professional above level 80. So strong. Truly too strong. Hey, do you think this lady boss has a level even higher than Marshall Lee? I feel like her monster farming speed is probably even better than Marshall Lee. Should not be, right? After professionals reach level 70, the experience needed for each level up is ridiculously high. Without special encounters, the leveling speed plummets. Yeah, Marshall Lee is the highest level existence globally. If this lady boss's level is higher than Marshall Lee, wouldn't she be close to level 90? Yun Miao listened to the surrounding discussions, with unconcealable astonishment in her eyes. Level 80? How? How is this possible? This woman is even stronger than I imagined? Beside her, Yun Lan also had a face full of shock and awe. Teacher, could this mysterious lady boss really be a powerhouse on par with Marshall Lee? Why do I feel like her strength seems even greater than Marshall Lee? Yun Miao regained her composure, speaking in a deep voice. It's different. Although this mysterious woman is most likely a super god professional like Marshall Lee, their specialties are different. From the previous camp battle dungeon, it's evident that even though this mysterious woman's level and equipment were suppressed below level 50, those guys from Sakura country still couldn't put up much resistance against her, being wiped out in minutes. This shows that this woman's group fighting ability and attack power far surpass professionals of the same level. But Marshall Lee is different. Marshall Lee's advantage is controlling everything, with combat flexibility and self-preservation skills unmatched globally. Although his attack methods are diverse, his attack power isn't that prominent. Therefore, while this woman's level should be above level 80, it likely isn't as high as Marshall Lee's. It's just her attack power is absurdly strong. Freedom Federation, Yuan God Guild Online Meeting. Parker Williams's face was unspeakably grim. The other branch leaders exchanged glances, all wearing expressions of disbelief. A high-level professional over level 80 with such outrageous attack power suddenly emerges in the East Dragon Empire, and they had received no information about this before? This is simply incredible. After level 70, if professionals do not participate in large raids, slaughter dungeons, and international war scenarios, and make outstanding contributions, their leveling speed slows to a crawl. Yet this woman was anonymous during that time. How did she level up? By farming wild monsters and world bosses? Impossible. High-level world bosses draw worldwide attention each time they appear, with so many people participating in the siege. If she dealt damage, it's impossible no one noticed her. As for wild monsters, that's even more ridiculous. For high levels to rely on farming wild monsters to level up is like common people trying to become billionaires by working. It's never going to happen in a lifetime. Parker Williams pondered for a while, suddenly proposing a hypothesis. Perhaps she leveled up through otherworldly dungeons? Upon hearing the guild leader's suggestion, everyone suddenly realized. Because apart from this option, they couldn't think of any other channel that woman could use to level up so quickly. Otherworldly dungeons, also known as secret dungeons, are special dungeons independent of the world's various regular dungeons. To enter otherworldly dungeons, one can only use otherworldly contracts produced by various major dungeons. The difficulty of otherworldly dungeons is generally high, and they also require considerable time investment. However, the rewards for running otherworldly dungeons are also high. Not only can they yield a large amount of experience points, but also various precious materials and otherworldly equipment with stats that might even surpass epic levels. The Hueco branch leader, Bruno Collins, eyes brightened, spoke up. The guild leader might be right. If she mainly leveled up through otherworldly dungeons, she could naturally keep it secret from everyone. Moreover, she might have gathered a full set of particularly powerful otherworldly equipment or even upgraded, profession-exclusive fine, otherworldly equipment. Bruno Collins's speech sped up instantly. According to professional scholars' research, all current professionals actually originate from various other worlds. Among them, those powerful illusion god professions are the pinnacle existences of those large other worlds. As for super god professions, they might even automatically receive corresponding otherworldly quest encounters. If Mr. Lee truly intended to fully nurture her, with the East Dragon's resources, secretly gathering a large number of otherworldly contracts for her to farm experience points is not a big issue at all. Therefore, this mysterious woman was able to level up so high without anyone noticing. Moreover, Some other worlds produce auxiliary equipment with powerful and unique effects. The reason this woman can hide her level in the leaderboard might just be due to some special effect of auxiliary equipment. Upon hearing the guild leader's hint and Bruno Collins's analysis, all branch guild leaders displayed expressions of enlightenment. If that's indeed the case, then it all makes sense. Parker Williams nodded slightly. What Bruno had said was exactly what he suspected. Otherwise, he really couldn't understand why the East Dragon suddenly has such a powerful and mysterious woman appear. He glanced at everyone, speaking solemnly, though we can guess the reasons behind that woman's strength, it still doesn't change the fact that she has already grown. Everyone, the international war scenario will begin soon. With this woman's strength, I need not elaborate on her threat. Parker Williams's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Before the international war scenario starts, we must find a way to eliminate her. Chapter 80. This is really off the charts. Within the endless altar, Lee Hashin looked at the hellbone dragon before him that had been blasted to ashes. His eyes suddenly brightened. Ding. Congratulations, you have leveled up to level 45. After clearing the 83rd level, Lee Hashin's monotonous monster farming finally brought him some new surprises. Reaching level 45 means he can unlock a new skill. While controlling the superpower army to continue advancing, Lee Hashin opened the attribute panel, added 10 points of free potential to his spiritual power value, then clicked on the Talent tab to check the new skill unlocked. Level 45 skill, Strategic Bomber. Skill description: summon a strategic bomber, which consumes 100 spiritual power value per minute of existence. Note: the strategic bomber has a speed of 2,000 km per hour, a maximum range of 12,000 km, and is equipped with various weapons like air-dropped bombs, cruise missiles, air-to-ground missiles, anti-ship missiles, and onboard cannons. Additionally, it can carry other superpower weapons. Note: once the spiritual power value reaches 0, the strategic bomber will be automatically retracted. Lee Hashin's body shook, and he excitedly punched the air. Awesome. Finally, an air superiority weapon. But then, he regretfully glanced at the superpower weapons army that almost filled the entire endless altar. TSK, it's a pity that this venue isn't suitable for the strategic bomber to perform, even the extra space is too cramped. Shaking his head helplessly, Lee Hashin could only reluctantly close the attribute panel filled with excitement. He looked at the Storm Naga on the 84th floor and muttered, 16 more levels. Based on the current experience multiplier, if I can clear 100 levels, I wonder if I can level up directly to level 50? I am somewhat looking forward to it, and curious about what new talent will be unlocked at level 50? Ah, this endless altar is indeed a great place to farm experience points. It's just a pity that each level can only be cleared once. How nice it would be if it could be farmed repetitively. Paired with the fourfold experience pill, this is way more efficient than farming monsters in the wild. Second senior sister is in charge of Nuclear Peace Elite, presumably has a lot of affairs to deal with. I always feel a little embarrassed to keep asking her to help me farm experience. It's a pity that Ling Xuan doesn't know what Lee Hashin is thinking at this moment, otherwise, she would surely have felt compelled to tease, junior brother, who would have thought you're such a considerate guy. Outside, Kinghua Academy. The comrade Ling Xuan, who made Lee Hashin feel quite embarrassed, was presently staring blankly at the leaderboard, as the string of question marks easily leaped up another level. Beside her, Zhang Zhen couldn't help rubbing his eyes. If Ling Xuan hadn't seen the same information, he might have suspected himself of being caught in an illusion technique. 85 levels. A professional at level 30 to 40 managed to tackle the endless altar up to 85 levels in one go. Moreover, from the present situation, this still wasn't his junior brother's limit. Although the monster clearing speed had slowed, it remained astonishingly fast. Nearby, Jiang Wuyue finally noticed something amiss and turned her head in confusion toward her father, asking, Dad, didn't you say that the monsters in the endless altar were very hard to deal with? Especially the high-level monsters after the 80th floor, the individual strength is more than tenfold that of monsters on the 70th floor. How come Hashin doesn't seem to struggle at all? Zhang Zhen glanced at his daughter but found himself at a loss for words to reply. You ask me, who am I supposed to ask? Ling Xuan mumbled in disbelief. Logically speaking, the monsters on the 80th floor indeed differ vastly from those on the 70th floor. Even I can't handle the 80th floor now, how on earth did Hashin accomplish it? Zhang Zhen's eyes were also filled with bewilderment. Could it be that the talent unlocked by Hashin at level 40 is really that heaven-defying? Below the 80 level, clearing monsters is as easy as slicing through vegetables. Even reaching the 80 level, it's merely switching from slicing vegetables to slicing through bones, and they are still brittle bones. Are the high-level monsters really that vulnerable? Sakura Country, Heavenly Light Guild. Kobe Kinjin was staring at the leaderboard information on the screen, his face full of disbelief. 85 levels, That's also the highest level he's currently able to clear. But judging from the monster clearing speed of the mysterious woman from East Dragon, this is clearly not her limit. Isn't his to say that the woman's strength is even superior to him, the head of the Heavenly Light Guild? Kingwa Academy, Marshal Li's residence. At this moment, this number one person in the East Dragon Empire was no longer leisurely lying on a deck chair but stood straight before the screen, staring at the leaderboard information above, muttering to himself. It's impossible. Whether it's the Storm Naga on the 84th floor or the Hell Rainbow Dragon on the 85th floor, they are high-level magical monsters. With the defensive power of their magic shield, despite Hashin having a considerable number of superpower weapons, he shouldn't be able to break through so quickly. Marshal Li absent-mindedly tugged at his white beard, somewhat questioning life. Moreover, the number of monsters on the 85th floor has reached an astonishing 7,225. How did he clear them in such a short time? This is beyond comprehension. In the instance halls of various major cities in East Dragon, there was an uproar. 85 levels. Damn, at this monster clearing speed, she's not a level 90 professional, is she? Hiss. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Everyone, no joke, I think our East Dragon is about to become invincible. Haha, I can't wait for the upcoming international warfare instance. With his female boss, we can surely grind those self-proclaimed noble white-haired monkeys of the Freedom Federation into the ground. At this moment, Yun Miao's expression was completely dazed, his eyes vacant. Who is she exactly? Does our East Dragon really have such a formidable woman? Yun Lan's eyes were filled with countless little stars, her admiration was as plain as day. Meanwhile, within the endless altar, Li Hashin looked at his EXP continuously soaring upwards, filled with a sense of fulfillment. Family, who else knows the exhilarating feeling of farming experience madly leveling up? Damn, it's just so exhilarating. Level 87, 88, 89. Freedom Federation, online meeting. Everyone was speechless, their eyes fixed intently on the screen, on that question mark name ranked first on the 89th floor. Parker Williams clenched his fists so tightly that the veins were bulging, showing his intense inner anxiety. As a level 86 pinnacle expert ranked second globally, who awakened to the super god profession of Emperor Knight, his current best record in the Endless Altar was just level 90. Yet at this moment, that mysterious woman from East Dragon, who hadn't even revealed her name, was almost catching up to him. Chapter 81. Is this kid cheating? Roar. The enraged human-faced lion emperor roared to the sky, unleashing one beast king roar bomb after another, filled with violent energy, aiming to shatter the dark cannon barrels that were firing at it. However, their numbers were too few, only just over 4,000. In the face of an army of superpower weapons numbering in the hundreds of thousands, they barely made a splash. Chirp. Amid the sharp whistling, the incandescent laser cannon descended like divine light piercing through the world, densely intercepting the Beast King roar bombs in midair. Then, the rocket cannon, Barrett, and Gatling machine gun, accompanied by the main gun of the heavy tank, roared madly, instantly drowning the human-faced lion emperor in a storm of bullets and artillery. Boom 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 boom. The intense explosions reverberated throughout the endless altar. 5 minutes later, the last human-faced lion emperor was baptized by the artillery fire and returned, embarking on the path of reincarnation. Level 90, cleared. Li Hashin yawned out of boredom, murmuring to himself, it actually took 5 minutes of continuous bombardment to deal with these guys. After level 90, the overall strength of the monsters seems to be more than 10 times higher than level 80. Fortunately, the superpower weapons that have already been summoned won't disappear when challenging the levels, otherwise, even with life transfer talent, I might only be able to reach around 70 levels. SSS. At Kingwa Academy, Marshal Li looked at the series of question marks jumping to level 90, shocked enough to accidentally pull out a small tuft of his own beard. Something's wrong. Is this kid cheating? A total of 8,100 human-faced lion emperors, even if split into several waves for refresh, the number in the final wave is no less than 3 or 4,000. This is no less than the number of his superpower weapons. Given the individual strength of human-faced lion emperors, even if Hashin had unlimited ammo, he shouldn't be able to make it through. Moreover, that kid only used 5 minutes. This speed is much faster than I did back then. Marshal Li's mind was full of question marks. At the Heavenly Light Guild, fear even appeared in Kobe Kinjin's eyes. Being able to clear level 90, this kind of attack power already far surpassed him. At the Freedom Federation, veins bulged on Parker Williams' forehead. Although he anticipated this scene, when he actually saw it, he was still filled with disbelief. What on earth is her awakened profession? This isn't scientific, this isn't scientific at all. In various instance halls of the East Dragon Empire, all the onlookers had already erupted. Holy crap. I think we underestimated the female big boss. Clearing level 90 in 5 minutes, with this kind of strength, I think she has a chance to reach 100. 100 levels. She must conquer 100 levels. Could it be that the first clear of the Endless Altar will be claimed by our East Dragon Empire? Unbeatable. I wonder what rewards level 100 will give. It's really intriguing. Empress, take me. Whatever you say goes. If you want me below, I'll absolutely never be above. Inside the Endless Altar, the female big boss was slowly advancing towards level 100. 93, 94, 95. Watching the seductive sea demon emperor slowly annihilated amidst the artillery fire, Li Hashan couldn't help but click his tongue. TSK, after level 90, the difficulty really isn't ordinary, completely incomparable to before. This is only level 95, yet it feels like the monster's strength has increased tenfold again. Are they targeting me on purpose? At this moment, the attention of every country worldwide was completely captivated by Li Hashan. High-level professionals from various countries were all focused on the mysterious female big boss from the East Dragon Empire's climb. In the Freedom Federation, James Gordon, president of the Gotham branch, glanced at the time on his watch and said in a deep voice, 8 minutes have passed, and she still hasn't made it through. Level 95 should be her limit, right? Bruno Collins, president of the Hueco branch, nodded slightly and hesitantly said, I feel the same. She never took more than 5 minutes on each previous level, and now with over 8 minutes, she must be feeling the pressure and stalling for time. Parker Williams twitched his mouth, glancing at the two guys. What the hell are they talking about? This is freaking level 95. Back when I did level 90, it took me over 50 minutes to endure through it. At Kingwa Academy, Mr. Lee wiped the sweat off his forehead, mumbling, the time should be about up, right? She's already at 95, if this kid gets through, she'll be 2 levels higher than me. As the former top ranker and the only peak expert worldwide to clear 93 levels, Mr. Lee had a very vivid memory of the monsters at the Endless Altar after 90 levels. When he reached 93, he also had to painstakingly grind through it, taking a freaking over an hour. At the time, if there was just one more monster on level 93, he might have been exhausted to death by them. And level 95 is simply unimaginable. In a secret area of the Instance Hall at Kingwa Academy, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen were both completely dumbfounded at this moment. Even Jiang Wuyu, who was previously shouting loudly, had already fallen silent. Since Li Hashan cleared level 90, her eyes were wide open. Above level 90, as of now, only Marshal Li from the East Dragon Empire and the president of the Yuan God Guild of the Freedom Federation, Parker Williams, had made it through. Their difficulty and gold standard, even without personal experience, were evident at a glance. But for Li Hashan, it seemed that levels above 90 didn't pose much difficulty. Until this unprecedented level 95, his pace finally seemed to slow down. Yet even so, Ling Xuan and the others felt that Li Hashan still had a very high chance of passing level 95. Because they had watched the entire process of Li Hashan clearing the Endless Altar, from the few seconds per level at the start, to 1 or 2 minutes per level at 70 or 80 levels, to 5 minutes per level after level 90. Now, although Li Hashan had been at level 95 for over 8 minutes, in their eyes, this was merely because the monster difficulty at level 95 had significantly increased, causing his clearing speed to slow down. As for whether he could make it through, the answer in their hearts was, yes. As time ticked by, the onlookers in the Instance Hall also began to whisper. What's happening? Is the female big boss at her limit? Maybe. The female big boss's level shouldn't surpass Marshal Li, and even though her attack power is formidable, level 95 is about the limit. Alas, I was hoping to see the female big boss clear 100 levels, but now there's no chance. Hey, you're dreaming. You think 100 levels is that easy to conquer, just saying it? Can't realize my own dreams, watching others isn't bad either, you. Hiccup. Whoa. Level 95 is cleared. My dream still has hope. Chapter 82, Clearing 100 Levels. Endless Destroyer. Seeing the string of question marks appearing alone on the 95th floor on the display, the professionals of the East Dragon Empire immediately breathed a sigh of relief, followed by fervent cheers. 100 floors. 100 floors. Invincible boss lady. Clearance. Clearance. Charge. Reach the pinnacle. In the Freedom Federation, Parker Williams' pupils contracted instantly. Passed. She actually passed. Is she really just over level 80? Why do I feel like this woman might be level 90? A certain branch president mumbled to himself. These words made everyone freeze momentarily. 90. Level? Parker Williams mumbled. Could it be that the East Dragon Empire secretly nurtured a level 90 peak professional? This isn't scientific. How could they cultivate such a super strong individual without making a sound? Could it be that in those previous years, the East Dragon Empire's decline in the international war instance was just a facade to lull us into a false sense of security? Seeing the question marks on the leaderboard, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen both breathed a sigh of relief. Ling Xuan murmured, more than 10 minutes, it seems that after the 90th level, every 5 levels the strength of the monsters increases significantly. Zhang Zhen nodded subconsciously, that seems to be the case. When junior brother fought the 94th and 93rd levels, it took him just over 5 minutes, indicating that the monster's strength only increased normally. But at 95, it was obviously much slower. As he said this, Zhang Zhen paused, exchanging a speechless glance with Ling Xuan. Zhang Zhen himself felt absurd. Back then, when Marshal Li took more than an hour to clear the 93rd level, they considered it fast. Why is it, when it comes to Li Hashan, taking merely 10 minutes to clear the 95th level now feels slow? With this reference time, all the discussions gradually subsided. They were already gearing up to witness miracles. Li Hashan's clearance speed stabilized again, and now, for each level, it took him just over 10 minutes. In the endless altar, as the light flashed once more before his eyes, Li Hashan finally reached the last challenge, the 100th level. Li Hashan frowned as he looked at his attribute panel and mumbled, only 12% experience points. Based on the previous increments, even if I clear the 100th level, it doesn't seem like I'll be able to reach level 50. Sigh, I thought finishing the endless altar would get me to level 50, but I'm still a bit short. Ah. Li Hashan stretched, reviving his slightly tired spirit. But at last, this is the final stage. I wonder what the monster on the 100th level is? As the light in the altar brightened, Li Hashan's eyes widened. This is actually... Li Hashan's mouth slightly opened, feeling a mix of laughter and tears. Because what appeared before him was astonishingly another Li Hashan. The monster on the 100th level turned out to be himself. The other Li Hashan waved his hand, and a vast array of rocket cannons floated around him. In the blink of an eye, a total of 3,600 rocket cannons appeared surrounding him. Seeing the other's actions, the real Li Hashan suddenly understood. It seems the Endless Altar has copied his current abilities completely. After reaching level 49, his current total spiritual power value is over 3,600 points. If he uses it all to summon rocket cannons, combined with the aura effect, it should be around 3,600 rocket cannons. But the issue is, the Endless Altar can replicate all his abilities, but it can't replicate the bug of the Endless Altar itself, let alone the superpower weapons he accumulated over so many levels. By clearing so many levels of the Endless Altar, Li Hashan has used the life transfer talent to accumulate and replenish superpower weapons, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. In the face of so many superpower weapons, what use does this doppelganger from the Endless Altar have? It'll be crushed in no time. Looking at the pitiful 3,000 odd rocket cannons around the clone, Li Hashan almost burst out laughing. To be honest, the logic of the Endless Altar itself is flawless. Because the clone it creates possesses all the original's abilities, equipment, skills, and character attributes. In other words, anyone reaching the 100th level would face a complete version of themselves. While defeating monsters is naturally difficult, defeating oneself is the greatest challenge. But the issue is, unfortunately for it, it encountered Li Hashan. The strength of Li Hashan's original form and the combat power he accumulated through exploiting bugs are on completely different scales. Boom 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 boom. Fierce artillery fire was already launched from the clone's surroundings, bombarding Li Hashan's position directly. Obviously, this clone also possesses Li Hashan's mechanic's exclusive talent, God's Eye View. But unfortunately, its firepower is just too weak. Li Hashan gently shook his head, softly uttering 2 words, goodbye. Boom 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 boom. Tens of thousands of superpower weapons fired simultaneously, and the more ferocious firepower instantly shredded the 3,000 odd rocket cannons surrounding the clone. The clone looked bewildered, mouth slightly agape. It seemed unable to comprehend why that guy has so many more guns and cannons when its abilities are clearly the same. That's so unfair. Boom. The next moment, the clone of Li Hashan exploded into fragments, full of questions. 100 levels, cleared. Ding dong. Congratulations on clearing the Endless Altar, clearance reward is being calculated. With this prompt sound, dazzling white light shone throughout the altar. Then, the light gate at the center of the altar quickly condensed into a line of radiant golden words, Endless Destroyer. This line of radiant golden words seemed almost like it had substance, as if sealed in crystal glass, just floating midair, sparkling brilliantly. Looking at this, Li Hashan's eyes showed excitement and puzzlement. Endless Destroyer? What does this mean? It feels like some kind of title. After hesitating for a moment, He finally bit his lip and reached out his right hand toward this line of radiant golden words. An extraordinary scene occurred. As Li Hashan's right hand touched these golden words, they immediately transformed into a golden light, like mercury flowing into Li Hashan's right hand and entering his body. Then, Li Hashan just felt a slight mental shake, and these radiant golden words turned into a semi-transparent form, floating above his head, slowly drifting. Reading the information coming from his mind, Li Hashan's eyes suddenly shone with brilliance. This thing turns out to be a piece of special equipment. Title: Endless Destroyer. General attributes: doubles all basic panels for every profession. Title: Effect 1. Summon a clone that possesses 100% of the original body's capabilities. Title: Effect 2. Attack efficiency doubled, effective upon equip. Note 1. The summoned clone can only be used once a day, with a duration of 24 hours. If the clone is killed, it cannot be summoned again on the same day. Note 2. The clone has independent thinking, but sensory information can be shared with the original body and is absolutely obedient to the original body. Chapter 83, Against the Heavens. Title: Attributes. Upon seeing the properties of this title, Li Hashan was momentarily stunned. Then, a look of wild joy appeared in his eyes. Once a day, he can summon his own clone, which has exactly the same attributes and abilities as himself. This effect is simple and brutal for any professional, equivalent to doubling combat power. Moreover, this clone is not some lifeless puppet. It possesses all the intelligence of the main body and can share sensory information and is completely obedient to the main body. That is to say, this clone can completely replace the main body in carrying out certain dangerous tasks, and even if it dies, he can summon it again the next day. For other professionals, this effect is already heaven-defying. But for Li Hashan, the actual usefulness of the clone is even more amazing. Why? Because Li Hashan has the mechanic's exclusive talent, while other professionals might accidentally die, but Li Hashan has a mechanical substitute. This means that Li Hashan's clone almost has no possibility of dying. With a duration of 24 hours and a cooldown of 24 hours, as long as the clone doesn't die, what's the difference from being permanent? If a battle occurs, especially a large-scale one, this clone also has the talent of life transfer, like a perpetual motion machine for war. One Li Hashan is already enough to be amazed, but two Li Hashans. Wow, it's frightening to even think about. Light flashed in Li Hashan's eyes. Seeing this effect, he had already thought of how to use it. In any future battle, he would first throw this clone of Li Hashan out to attract attention, then hide in the shadows as a sly strategist. Don't say the enemy couldn't possibly kill this clone. Even if they really did, they would find out that it was a damn fake. And once 24 hours have passed, Li Hashan can summon a new clone, an endless line of clone descendants? TSK, this is simply too cool. After a while, Li Hashan forcibly suppressed his excitement and shifted his attention to the second effect. Looking at the introduction of the second effect, Li Hashan furrowed his brow slightly. Attack efficiency doubled. What does that mean? He thought for a moment and decided to just test it out directly. Once he thought it, he did it. With a thought, a Gatling machine gun appeared in front of Li Hashan. It seems like the speed of using the skill has increased. Feeling the change that occurred when summoning the Gatling machine gun, Li Hashan raised his eyebrows slightly, seeming to somewhat understand what this effect means. He excitedly controlled the machine gun to aim at another direction and fired. Da. The rapid gunfire burst forth instantly. Carefully feeling the difference in attack from before, Li Hashan excitedly swung his arm hard. That's exactly it. The firing speed of the Gatling machine gun was originally 1,000 bullets per minute, but just now, Li Hashan could clearly feel that the Gatling machine gun summoned this time had its firing speed doubled. From 1,000 bullets per minute, it became 2,000 bullets per minute. So, the so-called doubling of attack efficiency refers to attack speed and cast speed. For all professionals, whether it's physical or magical, close range or long range, attack speed and casting speed are extremely important attributes. Attack speed allows the attacks made by professionals to hit the enemy faster, like the magic cast by a mage, or the chop, slash, stab, and cut by melee professions. And cast speed determines the speed at which professionals can release their skills. Simply put, it's akin to the casting bar when launching attacks or spells. When these two speeds are doubled, the attack efficiency can naturally receive a tremendous boost. If this effect is applied to Li Hashan, the actual impact would be even more astounding. Doubling cast speed is one thing since Li Hashan's summoning of superpower weapons already happens with a thought, and doubling it again wouldn't change much. But doubling attack speed is simply heaven-defying. Because it increases the firing rate of superpower weapons. And it applies to each and every superpower weapon. This means that if Li Hashan summons the same superpower weapons now, the barrage of ammunition they unleash per minute is twice as much as before. It's damn near identical to summoning double the superpower weapons, essentially doubling the overall attack power on the current basis. And if you add the clone to that. SSSS. Thinking of this, even Lee Hashin couldn't help but take a deep breath. It's like a mother cow taking her daughter on a plane, double awesome. Just then, Lee Hashin suddenly thought of something and muttered to himself, if attack speed and casting speed are considered as attack efficiency, then could the moving speed of superpower weapons be considered part of attack efficiency too? For instance, with superpower weapons like tanks and strategic bombers that come with mobility, the faster they move, the higher the attack efficiency would be. Logically, this seems flawless, right? Let's test it. Excitement filled Lee Hashin's eyes, and with another thought, there was a bang, and a heavy tank was summoned. Then, controlled by Lee Hashin's will, the heavy tank immediately roared, with its surging power propelling its dozens of tons of mass to charge forward like a wild horse. Lee Hashin's eyes instantly sparkled with brilliance. Damn. It actually works. Even the movement speed of superpower weapons doubled. Before, the speed of Lee Hashin's heavy tank was about 80 km per hour. But now, it had already increased to around 160 km per hour. You have to realize, this damn thing is a massive machine weighing dozens of tons. Imagine a fleet of heavy tanks weighing dozens of tons charging at the enemy at 160 km per hour or pursuing them, while conducting covering bombardments at double the firing rate. Damn. The mere thought of this scene gets the blood pumping. Lee Hashin's eyes gleamed brightly. If even the tank's speed can double, then wouldn't the strategic bomber also? With a swish, Lee Hashin conjured up a jagged, triangular-shaped massive bomber in midair. Then, with a boom, a terrifying sonic boom exploded instantly, transforming into a circle of fierce shockwaves that spread in all directions. Lee Hashin only had time for his pupils to contract before the gigantic triangular bomber vanished into the sky in a flash. Damn. That was insanely fast. The original speed of the strategic bomber was 2,000 km per hour, but after doubling, it had become 4,000 km per hour. If Lee Hashin hadn't reacted quickly, swiftly recalling the strategic bomber at a thought, it would have crashed into the boundaries of the endless altar. Chapter 84, Phase 5, Airdrop Support. Looking at the white trail left in the sky, Lee Hashin took a deep breath,